Well, let's go to Taiwan now, as you did, and you caught up with the Foreign Minister there, Joseph Wu. Let's have a look at what he had to say.
We are concerned that China might feel that they are confident enough to use military force against Taiwan without too much opposition. And if they have that kind of confidence, they may attack Taiwan at any time.
Now, Peter, you went to Taiwan, you walked those beaches that have tank traps on them.
Yeah.
They are on the front line. They've been living this day in and day out. I suppose what you're saying too is that Australia, Japan, the US, we need to be just as prepared.
That's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, but we went to the Kinmen Islands, which is just such a strange kind of place. It's part of the Taiwanese controlled territory, yet it's about 2 to 3 kilometres away from the Chinese mainland. So you've got these spikes in the sand that are from previous wars from the 1950s, but they could still well be used if war were to ever happen, because they would be the first islands that the Chinese military would go over the top of if it were to ever happen. But if Xi Jinping thinks it's going to be easy to get Taiwan, you'd want to think that he would have second thoughts, because you mentioned a few of the other nations who would find it difficult not to get involved as well. You get the US, the UK, Australia. What does India do? What does Japan? Japan would come to Taiwan's help, you would think. Indonesia, South Korea, the ledger starts to square here. So that's where Andrew Hastie was saying that, you know, it could amount to World War III in our conversations with him.
Well, it is such a worry because some people have argued, Paul Keating among them, that you just forget about Taiwan. It's part of China's orbit. But it's
sticks at a mountain, I think is what he said,
Yeah, well, it's a prosperous democratic nation of 30 million people. So if that can just fall by the wayside, notwithstanding the differences in history and geography, what would stop China from taking Australia full of resources and a food basket for it? So how prepared are we? I noticed you spoke apart from Andrew Hastie, you spoke to the late and great Jim Molan in what I believe was his last interview. What do we need to do in Australia to make up for our air and naval capability gaps?
And Mick Ryan too, another retired Major General. But I mean, the general consensus from these well-respected figures are that we are playing catch-up big time. So if war were to break out by 2027, we would find ourselves in a lot of trouble. So we need more troops. Government's working on that now, but I mean, there's a 20-year plan there. It's a long-term plan. We need more troops. We need more assets in the water. We need more assets in the sky. We need more defence systems in the northern parts of Australia. What's interesting is the US has recently come to agreement with Australia to have higher rotations and to be able to use more land in northern Australia, which also signifies why it's so concerned. It's also got troop rotations off Okinawa as well that it's announcing. So that's getting quite close to Taiwan. As China is increasing its threats, it's moving rotations of troops closer as well. So you see a theme here, right? It's really concerning.
Great stuff, Pete. Looking forward to it. 7:30 tomorrow night. You're taking some of our time tomorrow night.
Yeah,
we'll watch the doco, and then we'll follow up on it afterwards.
I owe you.
Cheers. Yeah, tune in for that one tomorrow night, 7:30. Are we ready for war? I think not just yet. That could be a problem.